In 1984, Joel and Ethan Coen revitalized the film noir genre with their debut film, Blood Simple. Since then, they have mastered the black comedy with such films as Raising Arizona, Fargo, and Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? With their latest, The Man Who Wasn't There, they returned to film noir, shot in black and white and set in the California town of Santa Rosa in 1949. It follows the story of a barber played by Billy Bob Thornton, married to an unfaithful wife played by Frances McDormand. Here is the trailer from the film.
Proud of what I did. But you, what kind of man are you? Science, perception. Reality, doubt. Reasonable doubt. I'm saying, sometimes the more you look, the less you really know.
I'm pleased to welcome back to this table filmmakers Joel and Ethan Coen and Frances McDormand, who made her film debut in Blood Simple as an unfaithful wife and in 1997 won the Oscar for Best Actress for her performance in Fargo. Why is it you're always playing unfaithful wives?
Well, ask them. I guess I make it funny. I don't know.
What? Is that it? Make it funny? Is this a black movie?
Well, it's black and white.
Yeah, I know that, but is it a black movie?
It's, you know, it's funny. It is being sort of characterized as a film noir, and it definitely, I mean, has very intentional sort of references to film noir. But when we were doing it, we were actually thinking just as much about science fiction movies from the 50s.
Like?
Movies about, you know, body snatcher movies, and movies with cheesy UFOs in them, and movies about that were made in the 50s that were sort of about post-war anxiety, and that was sort of manifested in anxiety about sort of technology and nuclear bombs, and was sort of manifested in these sort of alien science fiction movies.
And also like high school hygiene movies, you know, which also have like black and white and a lot of dread and horrible things and auto accidents. You know, high school training movie, driver training movies, that kind of thing.
Now here's what I want to know. Had you decided to make this before you finished or started Oh Brother?
Yes.
How Art Thou? So
actually, we'd finished the script for this before we shot Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
So I mean, you're not thinking ahead in terms of some kind of let's do a comedy now, a musical now, a western now, and action adventure now.
No, you know, the to a certain extent, I think, to a large extent, the order in which movies get made, our movies get made, depends on really practical considerations that have to do with when certain cast people are available, when it seems possible to raise the financing for the movie for one reason or another. It has much more to do with very, very practical things like that than any sort of conscious design about what should follow what in terms of subject matter.
The idea for this came from, as you were talking, what? I mean, what stimulated you to?
Well,
was there...
Well, to a certain extent, I mean, the idea came from, we had a piece of set dressing in our office from another movie, which was a poster from a barbershop in the 50s of all those little haircuts that you see at the beginning of the trailer.
Yeah, so that's how great movies get made. You sort of look up and you see a poster of a...
We wouldn't know about that, but that's how this
You wouldn't know. Well, you could ask somebody, how do you make great movies? And just tell them where do they get their inspiration from? And is it like you, from posters in your office?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't hang the wrong thing in our office.
We also have, this might be alarming for some people, we also have a poster up in the office of the great cantors, the great, you know, Jewish cantorial tradition. So maybe
that may be next.
About that in the
office. Tell me, as an actress, or just as somebody who's part of the theater world and film world, can you identify, could you look at a film that you didn't know they had made and say, boom, it has these qualities that are always there? A, dialogue. B, what?
Yeah, well, it's so hard to be objective about it at this point because I've been watching for 18 years, you know. But I think that, yeah, there's something very specific about their movies, and it's what doesn't work for a lot of people. But what makes the movies work is that you never know really know what to expect.
Right.
And from an actor's point of view, the scripts are very specific. They're done. They're not a blueprint like so many other film scripts are, where they kind of hire a cast of actors to fill in a blueprint. It's like more like a theater script. This, you learn your lines. You don't have to improvise. You don't have to fill in any blanks. It's more like a done, literary piece of work. The screenplay's done, which is pretty significant, and is always what they do.
But it's always there's always character driven, yes.
Well, yeah. You know, it always starts with
Caricature.
I'm not sure that it's always character driven. It's the characters are always important.
Sometimes,
yeah.
No, I don't know. Yes, guys, it's all like you think about the story in conjunction with the characters.
Some of the movies start with very, very clear ideas of characters, and that's really where the stories emerge from. And other times they start with story ideas, which are, can be even plot ideas that the characters that emerge from. So it's hard to say. I mean, I think in this particular movie, the Man Who Wasn't There, it started more with the idea of the character.
Yeah, the character, the barber.
Yeah.
Take a look at this clip. This shows Billy Bob Thornton playing Ed and Doris, played by Frances, playing Bingo. Here it is.
Should most likely tell you that our reward is on this earth, and bingo is probably the extent of it.
Watch your card, honey.
I wasn't crazy about the game, but I don't know. It made her happy. And I found the setting peaceful.
Jesus, Bingo.
Bingo!
Okay, tell me about your character here.
Oh, that
Doris.
scene, I love that scene because I think that really sums up Doris completely.
Bingo?
Yeah, she works with numbers, she's an accountant, she's a bookkeeper, and I think that means the world to her. And I actually got really good direction in that scene, because Ethan gave me a direction when I said bingo. He said it's life and death. And I think it is for Doris. There's something, kind of everything is in the balance of life and death when she plays bingo.
Now wait, how did you do this? You walked over and whispered into your actor's ear, this is life and death?
I don't remember.
See?
I don't remember.
It was pretty profound for me, but there you go. That's good direction. See?
Doesn't remember. Why is this in black and white?
Well,
it's
some
hard
of it
to...
goes back to what we were saying before about what we were thinking about when we were writing the movie. Thinking about film noir and thinking about science fiction movies and health movies and hygiene movies from the 50s and these all are sort of aggressively sort of black and white kind of images that you have in your mind when you think back on those films.
I mean, for instance, not to give anything away, but it's impossible to imagine a flying saucer in color, the sort of classic 50s flying saucer. It's a picture in your mind that's in black and white.
This movie happens to have been shot on color film and printed on high contrast black and white printing.
To deliver
stuff.
what?
Color film has, you can just get a faster, finer grained negative in color than is available in black and white.
For the past 40 years, they've been developing color stock to be faster and finer grained, and just you can use a lot less light. Nobody shoots in black and white anymore, so there's been no development essentially of black and white.
You and Woody Allen.
That's and a few other. There was Schindler's List and Ed Wood and a few other films, but that's about it. Yeah.
How about all this digital stuff that you used in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Well, that was actually all shot on film, and it was color timed in a computer digitally. We've never done a movie. We've never shot a movie on digital cameras, for instance.
Will you? Do you have any interest in doing this?
I think everyone will eventually.
Yeah, we will when we have to.
Really? Why?
Well, I think eventually it will pretty
be
much
the
supplant
No,
film.
because it'll be 90% of the industry is why, I
It'll
suspect.
be the industry standard, but
Yeah.
that's probably a ways away.
All right, take a look at one last clip. You're not in this clip, Frances. Relax.
All right.
Big,
I'm relaxed.
Big Dave, James Gandolfini, tells Ed that he is being blackmailed. Here it is.
Lady's husband would know.
How much do they want, Dave?
$10,000. I don't know what to do, Ed. I don't know what I can do. Even though I know who the son of a bitch is.
Help me understand, because you guys are together, and Frances has been part of this for 18 years, or maybe longer.
18.
What is it you represent, you think, in the film world? This is a serious question.
Oh,
You know, I'm not sure we represent anything. We play sort of in our corner of the sandbox.
Yeah.
And
what is that
it's-
corner?
It's
well, it's not as commercial a corner as one would hope sometimes. You know, we make, we just sort of, it's a hard question because we think about what we're doing in terms of specific movies, but not in terms of our place in the
Yeah,
industry.
You know, we sort of have been successful to a certain extent, flying under the radar where movies are not that expensive to produce. And so we've been mercifully pretty much let alone for our entire sort of movie-making careers to do what we want. You know, we don't spend too much money and no one gets hurt.
Sounds like my show. Exactly.
Yeah.
I understand that.
So we've been
You
lucky
know,
that way.
You
I mean,
fly right under the radar, do whatever
exactly.
you want to do, and
Yeah.
because if you don't cost that much, then nobody's going to go out there and sort of be
Yeah.
blasting away at you for
Right.
looking like a fool.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. So in that respect, I'm not
it's
sure.
not like a $120 million flop.
Exactly. I'm not sure we represent anything except sort of the ability that the industry actually will let you do that, you know, that you can do that in the movie business now if you sort of operate a certain way.
Yeah, but I mean, if I look through a list of the movies here, and this is really what I was getting at with you, Francis, I mean, there are other Coen films featuring you. Blood Simple, Raising Arizona, Fargo. You know, what's the common denominator there, other than you? I mean,
I don't. Outside. It's
Outside.
outsider art.
yeah.
There's
It's what, outsider art?
Outsider art.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they have pretensions to They don't have artistic pretensions, but it's somehow kind of stands outside the mainstream of what most people do, but it still has a real significant audience. And if you know, one audience member will love Fargo and despise The Big Lebowski. Will love The Big Lebowski, but hate
Interesting.
Oh
Yeah,
Brother, Where Art Thou?
right.
There's always one that becomes that someone becomes really attached to, and
Another is the locus for someone's fury.
yeah,
You know
but
what,
it provides it.
I may be wrong about this, but Jeff Bridges was here recently, and I think he said to me he'd like to work with you guys. I think
Jeff was an incredible amount of fun to work with.
Yeah.
He was
That character, the Big Lebowski, lives on.
I think
The
it's his
dude
favorite
abides.
film. Yeah, it does. It's his
abides.
favorite film, I
Abides.
think. And he abides. He's
He
there.
abides.
Billy Bob Thornton.
Billy Bob.
He
Billy
was
Bob
a
is
treat,
a
man.
riot. Yeah.
He's a what?
A treat.
A
He was
treat.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why
he's
is he a
great,
treat?
man. He's just so easy. I mean,
Immediate
like,
family member. It was
Yeah.
so clear
Oh, is it
he
really?
was a
He's
family
there with you?
member.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
He's there. Day
Yeah.
one, he's there.
He's there, like hanging out and telling stories and enjoying himself, and that you know, he's just easy.
The interesting thing about this character is, you know, Billy Bob is actually very verbal. He loves to talk.
Yeah.
And he would be talking right up until the moment the clapstick came down, at which point it was like all the air was sucked out of the room, because in this movie he says almost nothing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was kind of a startling transformation. But you wouldn't call Billy Bob a method actor.
What would you call him?
He has fun.
He has what?
Yeah.
He has fun.
He has fun.
He has
He
fun.
really
Yeah.
enjoys what he does.
Yeah.
And what was also really great is that though he's a really interesting writer and director in his own right, he didn't really bring that. I mean, he brought it in his sensibility that he knew what they were after, and he really understood what the script was about.
Yeah.
But he doesn't bring, you know, he doesn't bring that to bear in terms of suggestions or
Yeah.
method.
Yeah, he's like totally relaxed.
Yeah.
It must be, it says something good, I think. I mean, all of a sudden, he's got 3 movies out. Gandolfini's got 2 or 3 movies out. I mean, it's great to see people who don't fit the normal mold of what you might think
Right.
being recognized, in demand, etc.
And having the opportunity to carry a movie, you know, as opposed to simply be a character
character.
actor in
Yeah.
a movie.
You know,
Yeah. And which is always interesting. I mean, when you see someone that you've sort of associated as a character actor and you realize, well, there's no reason that they can't carry the entire movie in a sense as the sort of principal character.
Yeah. Anybody you wanted in this movie you couldn't get because of schedule conflicts or whatever? I mean, was Macy not available, people like that?
No, I mean, we wrote the part that Polito played, John Polito. He plays the dry cleaning man in the movie. And we wrote the part that Michael Badalucca, who's on The Practice and is an old friend of ours, that we wrote specifically for them, and they were both
Fran, of course.
Fran.
Yeah, Fran, yeah, right.
Yeah. I think that's it, really.
Chalhoub?
Oh, Tony
Shalhoub,
Shalhoub,
somebody
yes.
that we
Right.
worked
Oh,
with
he
once
worked
before.
with
before.
Right.
Really an unbelievably good actor that we worked with on Barton Fink, and that sort of flashy part of The Lawyer we wrote for him.
What's the schedule for you guys? One movie a year? Or?
Well, you know, it's
this-
rare we can do that.
This movie we had to do quickly because it was going to be shot. It takes place in Northern California. In fact, it was shot in Los Angeles. We had to, but we live here, and we had to get back to New York for the kids are in school.
Yeah.
Kids are old enough to go to school now, so we had to do this one quickly.
That's
but
the best thing
the
about
norm-
working with them now, because they know that we all have to be done by the time school starts.
The norm for us is actually shooting more slowly. I mean, making a movie more slowly. The shoots are always pretty fast.
What's slower?
Well, we
The
like
whole
the
movie
period in
making
between.
process.
Yeah, I mean, it's rare that we go from having finished one movie straight into another like we did.
Even though you might have a script.
Yeah, we're always, yes, but we're usually rewriting the script for a period of time, or there's a little bit more of a lag time. I think our average is more like once every year and a half to 2 years than it is once every year. Yeah.
Someone said watching you guys write is like watching a badminton match.
Well,
You think that's true?
A really dull badminton match.
Really dull
Why?
one.
Because they're just sitting there.
Yeah, it's just more action, more
Francis
activity.
walks in the room and says, "What's going on here?" Nothing.
For years, Fran suspected that Ethan and I simply went to our office to take naps, and we denied it, but in fact, it's actually true.
It's true.
Yeah.
It all happens through osmosis.
This has been a blast for you, huh?
Yeah.
This movie, but this whole sort of
Oh, yeah.
since Blood Simple.
Yeah, it's been great, and I think everybody feels that way. I mean, I can't think of one actor that's worked with you guys that has left soured.
Yeah.
Is there anybody?
I don't think so. We
You
like.
sure?
Yeah, we better. They'll probably be calling in now.
Well, maybe they're all just being polite.
No, I can't wait till. I'm really looking forward to the part they write me when I'm 65, 70, because I'm not going to stop. So I can't wait to see what they come up with.
Oh yeah.
It'll be interesting.
Is anything you've wanted to do? I mean, you have some great, sort of in the back of your mind, some kind of film that you want to make that you're not ready for. You haven't seen the right, you haven't gotten the right guess.
Well, we've written scripts.
What are you
We've written
laughing at?
scripts that we haven't produced yet. But
And sometimes we write scripts mentally just sort of as thought experiments. Not mainstream is one thing, but sometimes sometimes there are things you don't even want to bother, like committing to paper. Because what's the point?
All right.
we
the
won't
man,
go into those.
The Man Who Wasn't There is playing in theaters nationwide, huh? You can go to your local theater and you can see this
I think this weekend, yeah.
this weekend.
Yeah.
This weekend it'll be there.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all. Pleasure.
Thanks.
Great to see you.